Welcome to the Prophecy Club. An EAS message similar to the Amber Alert is scheduled to be sent to every cell phone in America on October the 3rd. In my opinion, there is a 95% chance that this message won't say, "This is a test, no action to be taken." I'm saying that there is a 95% chance that the message will say, "National emergency declared," and will signal the start of the arrests of the remaining 50,000 sealed indictments for human sex trafficking and corruption. And at the top of the list will most likely be Bill and Hillary Clinton and Rod Rosenstein and others. I made an hour-long YouTube video giving 14 separate reasons why these arrests of these 50,000 people named in these 50,000 sealed indictments may take place immediately following the national emergency declared signal, followed by military tribunal trials, which may take place and conclude in as little as 3 months afterwards. You can watch this free on YouTube by searching Prophecy Club Channel. Search Prophecy Club Channel at YouTube, then click on the round picture at the top, then choose Videos. This will be the second broadcast where I'm playing the audio of this free video. But I'm only going to be able to play about 80% of it on the broadcast. So I suggest you go watch the video because I can show you copies of the actual executive orders, 2 of them, and text from several more sources so you can see for yourself and make up your own mind if you think a national emergency is a high probability to be announced with the EAS message on October the 3rd, or maybe a second one shortly following. But for sure, before the November 6th midterm elections, there is a high probability national emergency will be declared. 50,000 or the remaining 50,000 people named in the sealed indictments will be rounded up and tried in military tribunals, which could take as little as 3 months to complete. Meaning, the swamp, brothers and sisters, is about to drain. Now, we're going to go in and listen to the second part of this 1-hour video by yours truly. But maybe there'll be a second one come out. My point is, I think very soon we will not see it saying test. I think we'll see the 2 words national emergency. My guess is that they already have the list of the people they want to round up. And as soon as all of those people see that text message hit their cell phones, all of the Marines, the military, is going to say, okay, it's time to go. That's when the doors will be knocked on and the handcuffs put on and people disappear into the night, never to be heard from again. You can expect, this is still talking about the alert, to pop up on your phone. Users can't opt out of this. The agency is required to do this every 3 years. The FEMA is also tasked with ensuring that the president can alert the public under all conditions in cases of, there's that word again, national emergencies, including natural disasters and terrorist threats. I think Trump has a plan. I can't guarantee that this EAS message is going to go out October 3rd, or that it's going to be a test, or that it's going to be a national emergency. But I'm going to say I think there's a 95% possibility that October 3rd is a national emergency, and that test announces it and begins the draining of the swamp. So, why the October 3rd EAS emergency alert system may not be a test, it may announce the national emergency, 50,000 corrupt U.S. leaders arrested and taken to federal prisons, basically. Now let's talk about Q, because Q confirms what I'm saying. Not exactly, but I'll explain. Q, and I pulled this off his website, and you can look at him. I should have got the exact link up for you, but it's QANON I think it's PA. Probably if you just search for QANON, you can find him. I mean, he's one of the hottest websites out there. Again, I don't think it's Trump. I think it's someone that walks and talks with Trump on a daily basis. And I think this information is put out with his approval. Anyway, let's go on. So who is Q? Now, he posts these, they're not tweets, they're posts to this particular site. Now, you have to read them in reverse. So for the point that I'm trying to make, let's go to the bottom right-hand corner, and let's read it in reverse. What you're looking at is apparently Trump and some of the military has decided to blind the eyes of the NSA, or the deep state. These are the guys that released the private conversation between Trump and the president of Australia, the private conversation between Trump and the president of Mexico. These are the deep state. These are the bad guys within the government. And what he's doing is blinding them. Bottom right-hand corner, I want you to notice the yellow part where this is the minute. So it says August 30th, 17:30 hours. Snow White 3, now offline, meaning a satellite just got taken down. Now, the same minute, Snow White 4, now offline. 5 minutes later, at 35 minutes afterwards, Snow White 6, now offline. My point I'm trying to make is, you can't have this kind of information unless you're at the very top. This is not intelligence like NSA. Brothers and sisters, this has to be somebody right next to Trump. So he says 35. Now we look at 1 minute later, Snow White 7 now offline, package complete, have a nice day. 1 minute later, Corona 1 now offline. What's that? 7 minutes later, Corona 4 now offline. Then Corona 8 at 45 minutes after. 47 minutes after, Corona 16 now offline. 48 minutes after, blind eyes in the sky. Shall we play a game? Look at that. Shall we play a game? Where do those words come from? Well, if you've been watching movies like most Americans, you know that comes from that movie that had the Whopper in it. Remember War Games? Shall we play a game? Meaning, they're saying we're in control, okay? Blind eyes in the sky. Why would Trump blind the eyes of the NSA, the people that see and watch everything? Maybe it's because he's got a plan to round up 50,000 people, and he doesn't want them to know he's coming. Let's go on. So then we see at 59 minutes after, disruption end. Good to go. At 47 minutes after, Big Bird 9 now offline. At 49 minutes after, okay, this is 49 minutes after. Please just keep POTUS safe. See, that's not a statement that Trump would make. Statements like that. It's not Trump, but it's someone very close and very loyal to Trump. Look at the next line. He says, we will gladly end our lives to ensure he lives. More than you can imagine. Next, NSA, no more. Next, main frequency bands terminated. Goodbye. This is someone that has connections to know when Trump is taking out the NSA satellites and blinding them. Now, let's go to the point that I want to show you here. This article says, stunning new briefings, spy satellites down, deep state arrest finally imminent. So I'm not the only one that says these spy satellites were taken down. Now, we don't have to read this one in reverse. We're going to get the same point. So let's go to the top left corner. Again, this is Q. Q says, trust Sessions, trust Wray, trust Horowitz, trust Huber. Well, all of these are the good guys in the federal government that are planning this big roundup. Next post, panic in D.C. Well, why would they be panicking? Because I think certain people know that there's a lot of sealed indictments, and they know they've broken the law, and they're afraid of what Sessions is going to be doing. Panic in D.C. Oh, now look at this. Sessions' classified letter to the Supreme Court Justices 1 and 2, referencing recusal versus unrecusal. I'm going ahead and just deciphering it kind of as we go here. And clarity, whether conflicts based upon unclassified material today. What apparently happened here is Sessions sent a classified letter to the Supreme Court justices asking if he could unrecuse himself regarding the Russia investigation. And he says, highest court authority approval, meaning Sessions has got authority and approval from the Supreme Court justices to unrecuse himself regarding the Russia investigation and Mueller and all of that stuff. Well, now, why is that important? Well, one is he may be doing that because Rod Rosenstein's about to be arrested, along with a lot of other people, and he needs to take back control of all facilities in the Department of Justice. Next, panic in D.C. Sessions and Huber weekend meetings. What are they doing meetings? They're having meetings to plan the roundup, brothers and sisters. Panic in D.C. Lynch talking. Who's Lynch? Well, that would be Loretta Lynch. You remember that's the one that had the conversation in the airplane out on the tarmac with Bill Clinton, and they were talking about their grandchildren, remember? Well, apparently she's talking and she's telling them the real truth, meaning probably Bill and Hillary are going to be at the top of the arrest and roundup and prosecution list. Won't that be a good day? Would people vote for Trump when he can do that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Next post. Attention. Oh, what are these words? Where have you heard these words? What would these words mean? Attention on deck. Lock on target. Fire at will. Well, brothers and sisters, those are words going to war, meaning that the good guys are about to go to war with the bad guys, and the good guys are in control. Let's go on. Next post. Panic in D.C. RR, that's Rod Rosenstein, requesting second meeting with POTUS. POTUS declined. Now I understand from the news today he has accepted a meeting with Rod Rosenstein Thursday. I don't think he'll fire him. I think what he's going to do is let him go on until this massive arrest roundup happens and just have him be arrested. Yeah, let him go ahead. He's got a few more days. Next post. Panic in D.C. Democrats offering to kill the sexual assault allegation versus Judge Kavanaugh in exchange for immediate pullback of the declassified FISA documents. Now, we do know that Trump has pulled back the declassified documents. But Trey Gowdy says, well, he's read all of them, and he says there's not that much in them anyway. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But we do think it's very, very important that Kavanaugh get confirmed. And besides that, we don't have to worry about these other guys. They're going to probably be arrested anyway. His objective is to drain the swamp. Next post. Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Goodbye, Mr. Miller. Patriots in control. Next post. Let me see your war face was a picture, but the point is still the words. In other words, the conservatives are about to go to war with the Democrats, the corrupt people. Let me see your war face. This is it, lads. I believe he's saying the EAS is the start of the 50,000 people roundup. NSA tech cannot read filter, meaning NSA is blind. They're offline. DS panic is real. The war is real. The power you have is real. Fight, fight, fight. Now look at the next post. Panic in D.C. Steele requested non-extradition to the United States. UK-U.S. Extradition Treaty 2003. What it's saying is Steele, this is the guy that cooked up the big fat lie called the Steele dossier. Well, he's asking not to be extradited to the United States. But Q is saying, yes, we do have an extradition treaty, and we're going to exercise it. We're going to bring this Christopher Steele over, and we're going to lock him up. That's what it's saying. Rats running. Time is everything. Enjoy the show. He's saying it's about to happen, brothers and sisters. Bruce Orr, in an effort to save Nellie Orr, testifying against Rosenstein, Yates, Lynch, and Comey, panic in D.C. Lisa Page testifying against Peter Strzok. Panic in D.C. James Baker, that's the former Attorney General, testifying against Comey, meaning all of these corrupt individuals about to be rounded up. Final thing from Q, attention on deck, battle station. Does that sound to you like there's about to be a roundup? Because it sure sounds like it to me. Final thing from Q. Now, on the right is a list of those people that have been fired. I'm not going to go through that. I'm just going to breeze through this. This is part of the Q posts. But interestingly, If nothing is being done behind the scenes, why are so many FBI and DOJ senior officials being fired? Skipping down. 50,000 plus sealed indictments across the United States, skipping down. CEOs, members of Congress and Senate resigning, skipping down. Why are human trafficking arrests surging? My point is, I think I've got ample evidence to say the EAS message, that's the signal. That's the signal. They're about to round up 50,000 corrupt people. Further confirmation. This comes to us from halturner.com. The recent 2-hour meetings in Helsinki between President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin was actually a meeting where Putin gave 160 terabytes of Russian intelligence and intercepts to Trump. Now, you remember later on that day that Putin had this red and white soccer ball, and he tossed over to Trump, and he said, now the ball's in your court. I think he was saying, I've given you the information. Now you know where the corrupt people are, what they've said. You've got all the evidence. Now it's in your ballpark to do what you can do. Now, what we're about to see here is anytime the communication leaves America, it's game. Anybody can get it. And what it's about to say is Russia not only provided all of the information, but also the coding so that they can decrypt these codes. In other words, a lot of people have been handed over to Trump, and they are rapidly going through these 160 terabytes of Russian intelligence, and there's going to be some more people arrested. That's what it's going to say, but let's read through it here. 160 terabytes of Russian intelligence, intercepts exposing the horrifying activities of many people deliberately fomenting social, cultural, political chaos, violent riots, demonstrations, media smears, phony scandals, and fake news. During the meeting, Putin laid out the inner workings of a vast global network of elites, I hope George Soros is among them, and the activities that have engaged to bring wars, refugees, as well as all manner of social and political chaos to countries around the world, much of it in the United States. Russia even provided charts showing organizational structures. These organizations are de facto operational realities, who is tasked with what topics or activities, how much they have been paid, and by whom. Now, I have to say, I don't want to believe that America is about to be attacked and taken down by Russia. I want to believe that the election of Donald Trump is our opportunity to drain the swamp. Jeremiah 51 verse 9 says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let every man returning to his own country. I want to believe that when we get to heaven, we're going to be able to look back and say, God, how come you didn't take America out? However, I don't think that's going to happen since there's 6 chapters in the Bible talking about the fall of America. Can't back up from that. But I do want to believe that we can at least soften or delay. I believe that Trump was a delay. According to Prophet Sundar Selvaraj, he said the angel told him that America was given a respite. A respite is a brief rest from something uncomfortable. So, if we can round up these 50,000 people, if Trump can do that, and you should pray that he does, maybe, just maybe, God is going to soften or delay the judgment coming to this nation. Let's go on now. Still from halturner.com. Some of these very same intercepts reveal that those people have been financing weapons supplies, travel, hotel, vehicle rentals, secure communications gear for terrorist groups inside Syria, Iraq, terror attacks in Europe, the United States. Among the intercepted barrage of communications were also international phone calls, faxes, and emails. Oh, listen to this. By members of Congress, Senate, federal judges, state level elected officials from several states, and they became fair game, these communications, for any country to spy on them. Although a great number of these communications were encrypted, Russia found a way to break much of the encryption. Now, because the United States did not actually intercept them themselves, they didn't break any law. Because Russia gave this to the United States, and especially in that it was communication outside the United States, that means it's legal to present in a court of law. So all of this 160 terabytes of information is all presentable in court against all of these people. A massive roundup. Let's go on. This comes to us from Benjamin Fulford. Now, Benjamin probably doesn't listen to my broadcast. He probably doesn't know a lot of this I've just been telling you. But what he's about to say will confirm what I've been saying. He says MI6 says the cabal rule will collapse within 3 months. Let me read that again. Cabal, now that's your international bankers, your evil elite, and things like that, is going to collapse within 3 months. That's 90 days. This came out September 17th. He says there's a very real chance that the Khazarian cabal rule will collapse over the next 3 months, and alternative power structures need to be made ready. What did Terry Bennett tell us? That for a while, the ruling and the running of our nation will come down from the federal level down to the state level. What's he saying? Same thing. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. Alternative power structures need to be made ready in time for that. According to British MI6 intelligence sources, the trigger is expected to be arrests of senior Kabbalists in the United States starting in October. Let me read it again. The trigger is expected to be arrests of senior Kabbalists in the United States starting in October, sources say. Pentagon sources, for their part, say the cabal has been deaf and blind for over 2 weeks. Well, how'd that happen? Because Trump took out their NSA spy satellites. So big things should happen after Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court confirmation. I agree. Going on. U.S. President Donald Trump may send a text to all cell phones to spread real news in real time and drop truth bombs. See, he kind of gets close, but I think I might be the only one, or at least the first one, to say that next EAS message is probably going to have 2 words in it. National emergency, followed by 50,000 arrests. More. Let's go on. Last week, representatives of the Swiss banking gnomes in Zurich, the Russian FSB, MI6, the Japanese royal family, and the Asian Secret Society all contacted the White Dragon Society, that's him, last week. The fact that these sources suddenly popped out of the woodwork is clear indication something huge is about to happen. CIA sources connected with secret bases in the Antarctica say that the sudden surge of activity in the intelligence community was related to the sudden closure last week of 7 solar observatories. What's going on with the observatories? I don't think it's UFO. I think they wanted to look and see what happened to their satellites. They sent people out to the observatories, run them out of the observatory so they can look up into the skies and say, is our satellite still there? Did it get blown out? What happened to our satellite? That's what really happened. Let's go on. I had this email come to me, and I'm going to read it right out of what the email was. Friday, 9:21 a.m. Hello, Mr. Johnson. My name is Todd G. Allen. I served in the United States Navy. I was an MS-3 SS aboard the USS Gurnard, SSN 662-637 class nuclear fast attack submarine. And so he goes on to say he had to grant trials for the JAG, in other words, these Uniform Code of Military Justice trials. He knows about them. Now, he was only a cook, but he says on board a submarine, you got to be able to do it all, including UCMJ trials, Uniform Code of Military Justice trials. He knows about them. Here's what he says. He said about 15 points. He said he had long thought that what President Trump needs to do is convene all of these arrests under UCMJ trials. In other words, military tribunals. He said in a military tribunal, there's no silly O.J. Simpson, Bill Clinton mockery trials. The lawyers are military JAG, meaning they are all business and to the point. The military trials are quick, efficient, and final. No movements for a retrial or efforts to go to the Supreme Court. I mean, it's possible, but very seldom. A judge could conduct between, listen to this, 4 to 6 trials an hour. 4 to 6 trials an hour. The military can convict with the death penalty. Death penalties are carried out fairly quickly, no 20 years on death row. Trials are in private, no media, no dog and pony show. The UCMJ trial being military means federal prison. Federal prisons, no joke, no picnic. UCMJ trial is military. It's also international, so it can be conducted on any military base or U.S. naval ship. Military police or armed forces carry out their arrests. That means internationally. No permission required from other countries is required. Arresting 52,000 people in a day won't be a problem. He said on the radio, he said they can arrest 52,000 people in 12 hours, not 24 hours, 12 hours. Amazingly, the government has been enlarging and updating its federal prison system. President Trump has signed executive orders to confiscate the wealth and the property of those convicted of sex, slave trafficking, abuse, and corruption. The UCMJ trial allows smaller guilty groups to be tried together at one time on related charges. In other words, maybe they got 25, maybe 50, maybe 100 people out there. They all did about the same offense, about the same way, and they're just all tried the same thing. Boom, and it's done. He said 50,000 people could easily be tried in 3 months. Let me say it again. 50,000 people could be tried in 3 months. So, let's say, not this coming Wednesday, but next Wednesday, October 3rd, 2018. The message comes out, and it doesn't say, this is a test. Instead, it says there's a national emergency. 50,000 people are rounded up in the next 12 to 48 hours, and they're put in front of military tribunals. They disappear into federal prisons. Then come November 6th, the election is on. And the conservatives are wild like crazy, excited and happy, and they kick out the Democrats wholesale because a lot of these dastardly deeds are all revealed. And I hope a lot of the people that are removed are people like George Soros and the people that run these fake news outlets. Now, let's go to a summary. November 2017 session appointed Huber to clean up, hires 470 dogged investigators. Normally, there's 125 to 350 sealed indictments at any one time. Now, there's over 50,000. How'd that happen? By accident or design? I think by design. I'm going to have to interrupt there, but what you've been listening to is a video that you can watch up on YouTube. What you do is just go to YouTube and then type in Prophecy Club channel, and then you choose the round picture, and then click on videos, and you see lots of videos. You can also go listen to all of our radio programs there. This particular one is called National Emergency. Just search for National Emergency. I think I'm the only one that has got that. This is what's about to happen. October 3rd is National Emergency Day. Probably that is when the EAS message is going to say National Emergency. And probably, while I don't have a thus saith the Lord or any kind of guarantee, that's probably when they're going to start rounding up these 50,000 sealed indictments. Also, you know, Prophecy Club exists, not that we offer books and videos and things like that. We continue because of your generous gifts. So when it comes time for your giving, would you please remember us? You did a really, really good thing, a big thing, a powerful thing for those pygmies. And we sent that money over to the pygmies, but we still need your help for Prophecy Club too. So please remember us. And don't forget to go check out our website at prophecyclub.com. You can also watch over 160 videos instantly at watchprophecyclub.com. And that's $20 a month or $200 a year. Watch over 160 DVDs, either $20 a month or $200 a year. Watch prophecyclub.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers. And thank you for those gifts of support. God bless.